It is another episode of Left Side Heavy the podcast presented by Blue Wire. Holy, just breaking in my new tongue apparently.
Presented
Um
by Blue.
it is it's episode 126. It's just me and Hayden today, and we're it's pretty self-explanatory episode if I do say so myself. We are recording on Tuesday, October 11th. The debut of the I guess the North American games in the NHL this season has started. Nashville took both games in Prague over San Jose. If I'm not mistaken, they won 4-3 and 3-2. Um, but yeah, the NHL is starting tonight. Kind of, it's actually getting like going tonight. Hayden, how do you feel about the NHL season starting?
Oh, I'm kind of excited. It's a lot more interesting now that I'm in fantasy. Obviously, just before this episode I was asking you questions because I'm like, how the fuck do you do this?
Yeah,
It's not like a you set it on Thursday night and kind of forget about it through till Sunday until you need to make some final adjustments. It's like you need to be on top of it every day because there's games every day.
yeah,
And that gives me a little something to do on coffee break. So
exactly.
I'm excited for it. I also really don't like how there's games on when I'm working, that classic Eastern Standard Time, kind of like how baseball does it. It's just like I get it, there's so many games to go through and you can't have them all on one day, but it's just like if you forget to set up your lineup, you might be screwed.
Yeah, I mean, typically now that the Prague games are over, that was because like our 5 p.m. when a standard game starts would be like what fucking like midnight for them or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, one
So,
o'clock I think or something
well,
like
the
that.
reason
Yeah.
why I only started that early is because it was in Prague. So typically games will maybe you'll get the Sunday 9:30 a.m. start like for
Hmm.
New Yorkers and everything like that, but it's pretty standard to have games start no earlier than 4. So you should be good in terms of that. But yeah, hockey fantasy, there's many different formats you can do. The two popular ones are the weekly matchups, and you kind of adjust your lineup every day, or the ones that my parents have done, where it's like you just draft your team, and that's your team, and you get points for
For
whoever's
the
playing
whole
that
year,
day.
right?
For whoever's playing that day, you don't have like this set. You don't have a restricted starting lineup and bench. It's just your team, and that's it.
Yeah, it's kind of like best ball in a way.
So it's like, it doesn't sub out players, it's just there's no bench and every player accounts for points.
Yeah,
So,
and it's just total points throughout the whole year, right?
yeah, and,
Yeah.
so there's that format, I like the weekly matchup, but yeah, I'm super excited to catch the Tampa Bay Rangers game tonight and then LA Vegas afterwards. Obviously, you guys listening to this, those games have already happened. But yeah, for the first part of this episode, we're gonna go through some NHL house cleaning notes and then talk about a couple pretty tough topics, and then we're gonna break down NFL Week 5. So, yeah, I may as well get started here. The NHL one shouldn't take too long, but I'll run through the quick topics, and we'll get to the bigger ones after I'm done. But we're gonna start off big. Jason Robertson, last episode with Ian. We were saying what's good with that. Uh, Conversations were kind of halted with them. Was he going to get traded somewhere? Me and Ian both thought I think all of us thought it'd be silly for them to not pay him, or at least it'd be dumb if they traded him because they finally have like a really good player taking over Sagan and Ben, and then just throwing that away would be dumb. But he signs a 4-year deal with a $7.75 million average annual value. I think this is a bargain for them. I think this is really fair, and I Dallas had to do this. I don't know if you have any opinions on this signing, Hayden.
I mean, not a lot of like strong opinions. It was the right move, as like you said, Ben and Sagan are both getting old, and this is kind of like a new upbringing and definitely a step in the right direction. If they didn't do this, it would just kinda be like, why? You
Yeah.
know? It was the right move, it got done.
Exactly. This solidifies now like they have a goalie of the future, they have a D-man of the future, and now they have their
Mhm.
forward of the future to kind of build around, which is a pretty good place to be. So I really like the deal for Dallas and Jason Robertson. He's going to be making more money, I think, after this, but no, I think it was a good deal after. It's typically weird that you see a 4-year deal after your rookie contract. Um, Usually it's like
Mhm.
a 3-year bridge or an 8-year max or something like that. It's weird seeing a 4-year. It's typically not popular, but I think it was a good contract overall. Continuing with the extensions, Daryl Sutter has signed an extension with Calgary. If I'm not mistaken, he's recently won the Jack Adams. Could have been last year. I'm having a little bit of brain fart right now. My mic unplugged, my bad. But, Hayden, stat guy, if you wanna search that up right now, I think Daryl Sutter won the Jack Adams within the last 2 years for Calgary. But, yeah, I just think a great move, especially now that Calgary's in a win now mode. It's only right to extend your coach for that same time period. So, I don't know if you agree, disagree, Hayden, but I
I
think
do
it's
agree, and you are correct. Daryl Sutter did win it last year,
yeah, I thought so.
and,
Calgary was a wagon
uh,
last year.
the year before that was Rod Brindamore.
I knew he won it in like the last 2 years, and Calgary was a wagon last year, so it only makes sense that he won it. But I think Calgary's only gotten better. Mackenzie Weegar extended as well. I think just over $6 million average for the next 8 years, if you want to search that up as well. But I think that now solidifies their window for the next 3 to 4 years with Huberto, Weegar, Kadri, and now you still have Lindholm, and I Calgary's gonna be scary for the next couple of years, and it only makes sense to keep that same coach around. And yeah, Calgary's gonna be a problem for the next bit. Um, the Vancouver Canucks, they were about $2 to $3 million over the cap, and you got to be cap compliant by the start of the year. So they shipped out Jason Dickinson and a second round pick for to Chicago for Riley Stillman. Ryan Riley Stillman doesn't really have anything to his name, but it was just a matter of getting Cap out the door so that we have somewhere to be. It could have just been like a trade this guy, get this guy back and waive him kind of thing. Like you're going straight down to the minors. You're not I think that's the only thing I could pull out of this, but I think it was the great move. We've been trying to move him for a bit. It just only sucks that it came with a second round pick to be give up, but it is what it is. He didn't really have a spot on the team, so it's a 2024 second round pick too, so it's not like next year's deep draft we're giving up a second round pick. But yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Hade.
Kinda like the same as you. It's just
Had to be done.
had to be done, yeah.
Yeah.
And also the Uyghur, extension, uh, it was I just had it, now I'm fucking losing it, Jesus Christ. 8 years, obviously, like you said, and it seems like it's, averaging around 6.25 million.
Okay. Yeah. So I remember seeing the 6 in the AAV and for 8 years. So
Mhm.
Calgary locked up. They made that trade worth it. And now they're going to be contenders for the next 3 to 4 years. And Hayden, I know on season preview, if you guys haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it. But hey, we posted a clip about it, so it's no secret. Hayden has the 29-year drought ending this year, with Edmonton taking it over Toronto. And with how strong Toronto is, Edmonton is, and Calgary is, I won't be surprised if the drought is done within the next 3 years. Maybe not this upcoming season, but with how strong Calgary looks, how strong Edmonton looks, how strong Toronto is consistently, they're just gonna get past the first round. And Canucks, um,
They could
Yeah,
make a little bit of an uprising.
so I think it could be very, very interesting. And I mean, hey, you can even put Ottawa in there. They've gotten a little bit stronger as well. So I could see the drought ending pretty
Hopefully
soon here.
sometime soon.
Yeah, hopefully with Vancouver. But I
We only
mean,
produce the most like hockey players.
yeah,
It's just kind of weird having it be like I know it's only 8 teams compared to 24, but I mean, come on, man. That's
yeah,
we should at least have 8 for every 32 years. Like, come on.
right. So yeah, that's kind of what I got with there. And then Kyle Okposo was named the Buffalo Sabres 20th captain in team history. Going back to the contracts, Nicholas Hague has signed a 3-year, $6.88 million contract with the Vegas Golden Knights, averaging out just under 2.3 a year. Tavares has been battling injury throughout the preseason, but he is projected to be in the starting roster for Toronto season opener. And Matt Murray, newly acquired goalie, is named the starter for opening night. Uh, Carl Hagelin for the Washington Capitals will be out indefinitely with a hip injury. And we've got some rookies making opening night roster. Number one overall pick, Juraj Slafkowski, will be suiting up for the Montreal Canadiens. Patrick Nemec, I hope that's his name. Simon Nemec. Simon Nemec will be suiting up for New Jersey. It's not often you see defensemen even with their high overall making opening night roster, because defensemen are a lot harder to groom and usually take your time with it. But clearly, for the second overall pick, he has earned the opening night roster. So shout out to him. And fourth overall pick, um, almost projected number one overall pick, Shane Wright has made the Seattle Kraken. So got some rookies making some noise in preseason, making the opening night roster. So it's gonna be exciting to see them. Um, making their NHL debuts. So that's the minor house clean notes here, and now we got some big stuff to talk about. Um, Stuff that's put a shit stain on hockey as a whole. It does not make this sport look good at all. It's a very tough situation to look at. But we'll go with the most recent one. Tampa Bay Lightning have suspended Ian Cole indefinitely pending the results of sexual abuse allegations that have been filed against him. Um, he doesn't have the best history when it comes to this because he was had an alleged affair when he was on Carolina, his most recent team prior to Tampa, with a reporter in the organization. So he cheated on his wife with a reporter um, in Carolina. And then um, the tweet that was sent out, um, I don't know if you read it at all, but it was not okay. I couldn't read all of it, but I read the big stuff, and he was basically manipulating her and quote unquote grooming her, and typically wouldn't take no for an answer. And then he would end up that same girl years later heard about him doing it again, doing it to a minor in the same high school she went to. And then she would talk with a teammate of Ian Cole or former Ian Cole, and he was saying that he caught Ian Cole bragging about doing it, which is just
Dude, that's fucking
senile.
disgusting.
It is senile. It is gross. It is fucked up. He doesn't deserve anything because when it goes back that far, it's like, what defense do you have?
Yeah, no, literally. And his statement saying that he's gonna try and clear his name of any of these allegations, and it's like looking at your past history and even just hearing about it, um, it doesn't look good for you. It just shows that you are a sexual predator,
Yeah,
and like it, regardless of where the tweet came from, shit like that just doesn't come out from the most random people. You know what I mean? Like when it happens to a superstar, it's kind of like, whoa, hold the phone. But when it happens to just some, pass
True.
by player,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like, okay, let's take this serious. It's like, no, this is how it should be kind of taken with every player and every person, because this is criminal activity.
Yeah.
So good on the Lightning for suspending him indefinitely. And it just kind of brings back little flashbacks of like the Matt Arzia situation, right? Like the Bills punter.
Yeah.
Haven't heard his name in a while. So, like, yeah, it doesn't look good for Mr. Cole, but he's probably deserving of anything that gets what's coming to him.
Yeah, from obviously we'll hear about what comes out, but I like good on Tampa for like doing it right away because if it was from what we've thought of like a sweetheart or something like that who hasn't had his name in the mud at all and these random allegations came out and it was from like a random Twitter account, then you would obviously be suspicious, but it was like this guy hasn't done anything wrong from what like we've seen. But this guy had already had his name in the mud prior. So
Hmm.
it immediately was like, no one's gonna believe your defense here, man, because you've
No,
already been a fucking asshole in the past.
yeah,
And I don't want that to be taken out of context because every situation should be handled with care. But it's just like sometimes we've seen false accusations before and it's ruined players' careers. And you gotta take every bit obviously, the percentages are much lower than that actually being true, but it's happened before with the players that like Sean Oakman,
hmm,
but, um, when this guy has been a dickhead prior, cheating his wife and had his name in the public with a reporter in-house in Carolina, you're immediately gonna be, um, on the chopping block because no one's everyone's gonna go, with the party who's filing the lawsuit against you because of your past. So good on Tampa for taking action immediately and treating this professionally as possible.
agreed.
So I hope the victim gets their justice and it's sick to see. It sucks because I love this sport, but with all this shit going on, it makes it look terrible and it makes professional athletes look like dickheads.
Yeah,
You wanna try and grow the game of hockey, but when you got the likes of Ian Cole and Hockey Canada doing the shit,
yeah, it's definitely
dude,
hard to put a nice clean face on a
yeah.
deep dark past.
How are we supposed to grow the game when you got the likes of Hockey Canada who gets your money to enroll your kid in hockey, has all these accusations to their name, and we're gonna talk about them next, but hockey's supposed to be growing now, it's not supposed to be going the other way, and all this shit coming out is not helping, and it just sucks. 'Cause what's the future gonna look like if all of this is going on right now?
No, definitely.
And I hope everyone who's been affected by any sort of player in the sexual assault umbrella, if that makes sense, um, is okay. And I hope that they've they're healing from the trauma as best as possible. But we're going to move to Hockey Canada, and news surrounding them is that CEO Scott Smith and the entire board of directors have stepped down and resigned from their positions. There's an interim board coming in, and they need to have a full board selected by the industry meeting in December of this year. So the interim tag will only be attached for so long, but they need some people in to handle day-to-day activities. So that's what they have going on right now. Bauer Hockey is pausing their partnership, halting a multi-year, multi-million dollar contract. They attached their names to the likes of Esso, Telus, Tim Hortons, Scotiabank, Canadian Tire, Nike, Skip the Dishes, Hockey New Brunswick, Quebec, Ontario, and Nova Scotia. So they got no money coming in. They got no foundation back them up because of how poorly they've handled all this sort of situation. Everyone should have stepped down as like way back because like this dates back to May. And I'm sorry for rambling here. I'll let you tune in just a second here, but
No, no worries.
I want to clarify like how this kind of all started. Back in May, Rick West had reported that Hockey Canada paid an undisclosed settlement to a woman who levied a $3.5 million lawsuit um, over a sexual assault allegation and by 8 Canadian players in the World Juniors of 2018. And Hockey Canada revealed that it had paid out roughly $7.6 million in 9 settlements dating back to 1989 related to sexual assault.
Mhm.
And it took them May to October to decide to resign.
Yeah,
That is pathetic.
yeah.
And
No,
I think
absolutely.
action should have taken way earlier instead of paying under the rug. It's complete bullshit. I'm happy it finally happened. But enough of me. I want to hear what you have to say about this because you are a part of the show as well.
Yeah, it only took, it only took a weekend of being thankful and for seeing what you have, for realizing what kind of piece of shit you are,
Yeah.
and, paying off, uh, the victims in this and saying, "Keep your mouth shut, or else we'll take away the money," and it's like, "Well, you really don't have the upper hand here." Uh, how does something like this go under the rug or get swept under the rug for this long without being any sort of buildup and people thinking, why has Hockey Canada paid out this much money in uh like 32 years
Yeah.
or 33 years? Like this is something's wrong here. And now that they kind of realize it, and now that stuff has come out, um it just it always makes me feel like there's no hope in this world, because I bet you anything, if shit like this didn't if shit like this was thrown at the wall and it didn't stick, I can guarantee you none of these organizations would step down. But I feel like once something stuck and once there was like conclusive evidence and something so major, it kind of just made these organizations all pause their deals with Hockey Canada. And obviously there will be a new Hockey Canada made, or as Justin Trudeau said, a new Canada of hockey.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man, like do some different rebranding. Like this is fucked up. But obviously they're gonna sign with them, and hopefully we get less pieces of shit like this in the front office, and realize that if your players are making really serious allegations, maybe, just maybe, they should be in prison.
Yeah.
And I don't even know about our prison system, because I heard the other day on the radio, this 19-year-old um like harassed a woman, a 31-year-old woman, back to her place, basically, and like six people stopped this guy. 2 days later, right back out on the street, and he's already had like previous entanglements of actual sexual harassment. I don't know what the Canadian justice system is, but something needs to change, because
Yeah.
this is not it, man. Not it at all.
How are you supposed to like feel confident going out nowadays?
You
It's just
can't.
like it's and like I don't think I don't know how to phrase this, but like all this shit is like ruining it for others.
It is.
The people who are great people, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, I play hockey. I play like junior hockey, and they're like, oh well, there's not really a good repertoire with players in junior. I'm not interested in you. And it's like, what? Like, I obviously understand it, but it's like
You can't take
tainting
that risk.
it's tainting the look of hockey and everything because this is obviously biased here, but to me this is the best sport in the world. And assholes like this and Hockey Canada and everything like that who put hush money aside
Yeah.
for like my neighbors down the street, my parents were paying Hockey Canada to enroll me into Pokemon or hockey, and they were putting what, $25 a kid towards this hush money fund that they
Mhm.
planned on paying out for these sexual assault settlements. Like, what am I paying for? What are my parents paying for? What are my friends' parents paying for?
Yeah.
Like, it's a joke, and it's putting a taint and a bad stain on the game of hockey, all the players involved, and it's heartbreaking to see and seeing people go through like this and not getting the justice they deserve, like you alluded to earlier. It's bullshit, and something needs to change with the justice system and everything like that. It just sucks, and you never want to see it
No. No, you don't.
happen. Yeah, it's just awful. So I'm glad that the boards and board of directors and everyone under Hockey Canada finally stepped down because it should have happened earlier, but at least it happened at some point. And yeah, so
Yeah, it kinda takes something like this to realize a saying, like, the saying, "Better late than never,"
yeah,
and this is a great example of, that saying or that phrase, like, yeah, it should have happened a while ago, but it's its start. It's better that it happened rather than never happening,
yeah,
because there needs to be change, and finally, finally, it's starting to go somewhere.
yeah. 100%. All right. That's all we got for the hockey world. Puck drop starts tonight,
Let's
and
fucking go.
hopefully your fantasy rosters live up to their expectations. And one thing, Aiden, this is you as well, but I think you already know this as a fantasy player in general. Don't overreact after the first game. There are 82 of these fucking things for every single player. If they have a bad game, if they go -3 with no assists or goals, do not trade them. Or sometimes you can buy low on players because some people will be like, "Fuck this guy, I don't want him."
Yep, that's where you get
Take
them
it.
for a steal.
Never be the person to to be taken advantage of. Take advantage of players who are gonna give away their good players because they had one bad night, but don't overreact. Any fantasy player knows that, but if you're new to the game, especially hockey, it is a long, long season. But anyways, we are going to kick it off to Hayden, no pun intended, and he's going to run us through the week 5 slate that happened over the weekend, over the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend.
Let's fucking go.
And by the way, how was your Thanksgiving, man? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. I don't call it Thanksgiving anymore. Personally, just a thing realizing of Canada, uh, country built upon lies. I take this more as more of the reconciliation day because obviously
Yeah.
this wasn't ours to begin with, and I see so like one quick funny thing that wasn't even really funny, but like my uncle from Ontario called my mom and they started talking and he was like, "Oh, like happy Thanksgiving. What are you doing?" And my mom was like, "Well, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving, but we did have a dinner. But we had a dinner to just have it as a family." You know what I mean? And my mom was like, "Oh yeah, no, we just had a dinner. We don't really celebrate that just because Shaden's Aboriginal, and that has a bad effect on the
Mhm.
Aborigines people." And my uncle was like, "Oh, get over it." And I'm like, "Well." you've immediately just lost some respect there. Like,
Yeah, that's not some yeah,
yeah, maybe you don't ever get to meet my girlfriend.
yeah.
So, other than that, it was good. It was good. It was a great dinner. My mom made a great ham. I made a really, really good stuffing dish, and then we had some scalloped potatoes and some apple pie.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
Had the Gates come over.
Nice.
Um, the Roaches were in Vernon, Kelso was at in Cranbrook.
Mhm.
Um, we reconnected with the Gades. Mom made ham with some mashed potatoes, corn, Brussels sprouts, carrots, and then we had some pumpkin pie and ice cream.
Oh man, dude, ham is so fucking good, man.
Ham is goaded, man. And
It takes the cake.
she puts this glaze on it
Oh
that
yeah.
I swear like Walter White made because it has some fucking crack in it, I swear. It is unbelievable. It's like this orange juice, brown sugar.
Yes.
It's mm,
Oh
it's
yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. My mom does almost the exact same one, but she didn't have any orange juice, so she used pineapple juice. And let me tell you, man, it's just as good.
yeah, sometimes my uncle will do that same thing and then put like cut pineapple on the ham and
Exactly.
then
Exactly.
cook it with that so it has like the orange juice,
Sweet
fresh
and salty.
the pineapple slices
Mhm.
with the brown sugar and like dry mustard, like mustard powder
Oh
in there
yeah.
as well. But yeah, it was a phenomenal meal. But we watched the Monday nighter between Baltimore and
You
Cincy.
mean the Sunday night?
Sunday nighter, yeah.
Yeah.
That was between who was Sunday
Monday
nighter?
night was KC and Vegas. Sunday night was Baltimore and Cincy.
What did I say?
You said Monday night Baltimore, or you said
No, I said we watched a Sunday nighter between Baltimore and Cincy.
yeah, you might have actually.
Yeah.
Maybe you did say Monday night? No, I think you said Monday night, the first one. I think you said
Okay.
Monday night, yeah.
But yeah, we watched a Sunday nighter between Baltimore and Cincy, and then I caught the last inning and a half between the Padres and the Mets. Um, game 3 of the wild card game,
Oh
but
yeah,
that's
did the Mets lose?
yeah, the Mets lost.
So your Padres are moving on, huh?
And playing the Dodgers, and
Oh, great.
my mom's a Dodgers fan, so
Yeah.
gonna have to run another bet back. But anyways, let's go through the week 5
Let's
slate.
go through week 5. Quickly, before anything, we never touched on week 4 last week because obviously hockey.
Yeah,
So some pretty big news. Obviously, it's come and gone. Tua Tagovailoa has started a whole resurgence on NFL protocol, concussion protocol, which is why wasn't this in the league before? People
yeah.
have like normal people like you and I have probably realized that if a guy is stumbling, can't catch his feet, probably should be playing the game. Uh,
Yeah.
that was a big thing. And then even on that Sunday, there were a couple people that got banged up. But quickly to run through some of the primetime games and our teams. Obviously, the Dolphins with them going down, the Bengals obviously won. The Saints, I know we talked about that a little bit, lost a nail biter against Minnesota. Your Pats almost squeezed out a victory against the seemingly kind of sloppy Packers, in my opinion.
Yeah, with Bailey Zappi coming in the last pretty early with Hoyer
Yeah,
going down with a shoulder injury.
yeah, literally, it was really shocking. Obviously, you'd known. Me, my dad, and Donald had the Packers in a survivor pool, and whoo, that was if Crosby missed the kick, we lose. But luckily, he didn't. And then the Chiefs fucking skull fucked the Bucks, and
The
obviously
score
the score is not what it actually was on that
yeah.
game. And then the 49ers copied the Chiefs and skull fucked the Rams. Man, do the Rams look fucking god awful.
Yeah, they look terrible right now.
Last Thursday was probably the worst, but like funniest worst game I've ever watched, and that takes the cake now of the Patriots and Rams Super Bowl because at least there was a touchdown in that game.
And they're like I know because the Sony Michel touchdown in the Patriots Rams Super Bowl, like, that was the touchdown, but, like, it had an exciting play that led to that as well with
The
the
Gronkowski catch,
yeah.
yes.
Like, at least I had some, like, "Oh, like, okay, like, this is gonna be, like
A
that's
good
something that brought me to my feet."
yeah.
I tuned in, so I tuned in late to the game
Mhm.
because I can't remember what I was doing exactly. I think I was studying or doing some sort of homework. So I tuned into it late, and it was 3-0 for the Broncos or 3-0 for the Colts or something like that. And I'm like, "Okay, I really need to shower. I feel disgusting. I'm gonna go shower and watch like whatever." I put on a video in the shower. I was in there for like a half hour. I was in the bathroom and like shower for like a half hour. I came out, it was 6-0. It went from 3-0 to 6-0 in 40 minutes. And I'm like,
Yep.
wow,
Yep,
okay.
that's exactly what happened. Denver was up 3-0 after the first, and then it was 6 nothing, then it was 6-3, then at some point it was 9 or 6-9, and then it was 9-9. And obviously, for that game, Denver could have closed it out in the last minute and a half, but instead, either bad play calling or obviously it was a terrible read on that play. But Russell Wilson decides to say, "Hey, fuck me. Let's give the ball right back to the Colts." And you're like, "Oh my god, what is happening? You literally just had to run the ball. If you didn't,
Yeah.
you could kick a field goal, and you're up 12-9 or you're up 12-6 at that point." But no, instead they throw a pick. Matt Ryan
And
drives down to the 35 or something, and then Indianapolis kicks a field goal, and it goes into overtime, and then just like mediocrity all around.
yeah.
And the Colts take a 12-9 overtime lead. And then on 4th and 1, they decide to pass the ball. And Russell Wilson can't look for anyone else except Cortland Sutton.
Had KJ
And
Hamler wide open on a slant.
yeah, yeah, he did. And Stephon Gilmore revitalizes his career and makes a game-winning interception. And you're like, wow, the Colts are probably like the worst 2-1-1 team. Or wait, what are they? 2
2
2 and
and 1.
1, sorry.
Yeah.
That I've ever seen in my life.
The
They
Broncos are the worst team with 2 wins that I've ever seen in my life, and
yeah,
they
like there are definitely two fraudulent teams, two very, very bad teams,
and also, why did Matt Ryan save him slicing up the Broncos defense for the last minute and a half of the game when they tied it
right?
up? Like, he looked good in the last drive,
The last
and
drive, yeah,
he
because of
was like
tempo.
yeah, he was actually, like he was piecing up that defense, and I'm like, "Where was this for the last 58 and a half minutes?"
Oh
Like
yeah.
like, help me figure this out.
No, definitely. And obviously, Michael Pittman was covered by Pat Surtain for 58 minutes. And as soon as Alec Pierce caught 3 balls in the last minute, they're like, all right, let's put Surtain on Alec Pierce because the rookie Alec Pierce had a pretty phenomenal day, 8 catches for 81 yards and a game saving catch that I don't know how he caught for the first down,
Yeah.
but he did. Both quarterbacks didn't deserve or don't deserve any sort of stat line read. The only player that I can think of that really had a great game other than Alec Pierce was Melvin Gordon. He didn't fumble, so good for you, man.
That's a W.
That is a huge W. But going on for the next part of this, uh, Sunday morning, the
I
Giants.
got
Oh,
one thing though for the game-winning breakup by Gilmore. Did you think there was a little bit of, holding on Gilmore in the end
did
zone on Sutton? It looked like he held him out of his break. I didn't know if it was the same amount going on Sutton on Gilmore. But I thought, like, Gilmore restricted Sutton out of his break and kept Gilmore by Sutton's side. making it available for him to break up the pass. I thought there was a little bit of a hold, but I understand them, like, not calling it.
They weren't really calling a bunch of stuff like that throughout the whole game. The only thing they were calling was 4 holding penalties against the rookie left tackle on Indianapolis. I forget his name, but holy fuck. It seemed like every play the guy was just holding Chubb or uh I forget the other guy that got injured, but it looked like he was just holding him the whole time, and I was like, this guy is just not good.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it was too bad, from
Okay.
Gilmore and Sutton. I bet you it was kinda like that the whole night, you just don't really see anything like that.
And it also might have been a victim of slow motion. Like, it might have
Yeah,
looked a lot worse in slow motion than it actually was.
very
But yeah,
possible.
Gilmore probably had the best game out of everyone. He had a pick in the
That's
game
very
in
true.
the game-winning, breakup pass. So, mind you, it was the product of 2 terrible decisions by Russell Wilson, but he still made the
Mhm.
plays. So, shout out to him.
Yeah,
He's
no,
a legend.
definitely. But yeah, moving on. The Sunday slate, you had the early London game. Uh, Going into this game, the Giants and the Packers. Obviously, the Packers kind of look stinky poo poo, and I was talking to my dad, and I was just saying to him, I was like, I really, really, really want to bet the Giants +8. Like, considering how bad the Packers played and how bad their run defense is, I'm like, I feel like Saquon could tear it up, and I should have. I should have hammered this bet. I should have done everything I could because holy shit, the Giants, like, I caught the last quarter and a half of the game, and the Packers couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
Like,
no?
they couldn't do anything. And Saquon, absolute beast. He
Yeah.
injures his shoulder, goes into the locker room, comes out sprinting out of the locker room, and like gets someone on the sideline to be like hit me in the shoulder. Hits him in the shoulder. He's like, I'm good, and goes right back into the game. Like Saquon, he's back. He's fully back. I think he's RB1 or two. I think it might be two after Nick Chubb had a amazing week. But
Yeah. Just
yeah. So the Giants looking. I don't think I don't think like they're frauds, but I don't think that they're like this like uberly great 4-1 team. You know, they beat the Bears last week, and then the week before, the Giants also no, they didn't win, but they lost to the Cowboys, and that one also I'm not like I'm not the most in on the Giants or the Cowboys, but I mean, give their flowers.
yeah.
They both are looking like the NFC beast again. So congrats to them. Your Pats shut out the highest scoring offense in the
I
league.
in the Pat the Patriot jerseys,
I think if they wore those jerseys every game,
we wouldn't give up a point.
yeah, it's a
Clearly.
look at the facts,
Yeah,
you know?
our average is there. Like
Yeah, no, no, I was actually just really, really shocked that the Lions like couldn't do anything. I know we talked about this, but maybe Bill Belichick just has it out for Jared Goff, you know?
Jack Jones and Jonathan Jones, according to PFF, so take it with a grain of salt, have the highest rating in coverage, um, this year out of all the cornerbacks in the league. So
Mhm.
regardless or depending on how, you take PFF stats,
Yeah, I
you
don't
can
really
take that with
take
a
PFF
yeah,
stats.
you can take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But and like Matthew Judon has 5 sacks he has a sack every week.
Yep.
So Bill has the defense in check, and Bailey Zappi looks confident for a low-level college quarterback. And he's obviously we're running the ball like 300 times a game, but when he does need to drop back for a throw, he doesn't look terrible.
No, he
And
doesn't, and he's actually finding his tight ends.
yeah,
I know Johnny wasn't there, but, like, Hunter Henry finally got some action, which was amazing to see because it's like, how do you not throw to a target that big?
yeah,
And it looks like it's now Stevenson's backfield with, Harris being down now for what seems to be a couple of weeks. He
Yeah.
hasn't been put on IR, but might as well.
It'll probably be
It's
like a week to week thing where he tests that out and whether he can go for practice or not kind of thing. So,
yeah, no, he's definitely going to be out for 2 weeks minimum, I'd say.
because IR, you're out for a minimum of
4.
4. So,
Yeah.
they probably don't want to do that quite yet. But they, I feel like they're not in a position to force him back with how good Stevenson's been playing this
That's
year.
exactly what I'm
So,
thinking, and it's like if you put him on IR, then you can go and test out a couple other running backs.
yeah.
That way you don't feel like you're rushing him back. Um, but yeah, no,
Jacoby Myers had over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. So,
exactly what I was just about to say.
getting a little bit more involved in the offense as well, which is good
Yeah.
to see.
What a terrible week for me to start Devontae Parker
Yep.
in, one of my other
Yep.
leagues.
Devontae Parker's gonna be one of
Woo!
those hit or miss receivers this year where
I feel like he's only a hit when it's Jacoby Myers not playing. So,
it's every second week, just swap them out.
yeah, literally.
Myers, Parker, Myers, Parker. You should be good.
Uh, man, that yeah, no, it was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible for me.
Yeah,
But, yeah, no, Myers looks great.
I think I looked in the second quarter and Parker had 1 target without a catch, and it was, like,
Mhm.
halfway through the second. I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah, no,
After
it
exploding
was
last week,
terrible. It
but
was absolutely terrible.
it's hard to trust any receiver not named Randy Moss that has been in the, Patriots offense. Because
And
even
Julian
some
Edelman,
but sometimes he would go dry, like, he'd have 37 yards, and, like, that's it.
but at least
But
he had something.
yeah,
Like, this was
but
nothing.
this offense, it's hard to bet on a receiver because we're so run heavy now,
Yes.
so
Yes. No, definitely. Uh, Next game, Chargers almost charger it up to the Browns. Don't know why you don't punt on 4th and 2.
yo, Brandon Staley is trying to give up his job, man.
He really is. He's trying to say, "You know what? Like, Sean Payton, man, job's open."
Yeah,
Uh,
any
man,
coach out there, job's open.
facts. But Austin Eckler had a fucking amazing day. Nick Chubb had an amazing day. Mike Will made it, had an amazing day. Jacoby Brissett, man, like he's actually like really, really serviceable. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like he seems like Jimmy Garoppolo, but better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Not like better than Geno Smith, but like kind of right in that area, you know?
Yeah, he's weird to me. Like, he'll like, he'll have good 3.5 quarters,
Yeah.
but that bad half is spread out throughout the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like one
Like,
in every like 4 drives that he'll just be like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like that
yeah,
was just terrible.
he'll look like, "Oh, we could confidently start this guy over Deshaun Watson," and then he'll throw to triple coverage when the receiver didn't even have a chance of getting open.
Yeah.
It's not like he was open and then the low zone DB dropped back into and filled in that area of the field and they almost picked it off. It's like, oh no, this receiver was triple covered the whole
He
time and
wasn't even open the whole time.
he still threw it to him. So like his bad instances are spread out throughout the game, but he will have like drives where he makes the throws at the sticks and makes, like, throws where only his receiver can catch it, but, yeah,
No, definitely.
it's so weird because you're right, he's serviceable, but it's hard to count on him.
It is, but you know what? Like, looking at his fantasy stats, he has only had 1 week where he's been under 15 points.
Yeah, and that's
He got 21 again in week 2, 24, almost 25 in week 3, 18, almost 19 in week 4, and then 19 and a half like this week. Like I don't know why I keep thinking that Matt Stafford is better than Brissett because Jacoby Brissett has just shown to me that he can definitely be a lot better. It's just I don't I don't know.
you gotta
Like,
think, though, because he is playing with a chip on his shoulder because he probably knows, like, "Alright, once Watson's off his suspension, he's gonna be the starter."
yeah,
Like, they're
he's
paying
definitely
him
playing
they're
for a contract.
Yeah, he's playing for a contract next year or for Browns to keep him after his stint is up, right? So, like,
Mhm.
he's in a position where he's never gonna be locked into a team because like we've discussed before, NFL contracts don't actually fucking exist
No,
because you can cut anyone at any time once their guaranteed money's up, and then you can just gas them, and, like, you can reconstruct anything at any point. So he probably knows, like, "Alright, anything I sign really isn't guaranteed, so I need to oh my god, why that happen again?"
every time.
But, yeah, he's playing for, like, I need to put my name out there, and I need to, give other teams reasons to trust me to be on their team, right? So, he's
No,
playing for
definitely.
something regardless if he knows, like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be the starter by week 12. I just need to play for my future," right? So,
Yeah.
he
No,
definitely has
and
something.
good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Also,
oh, sorry.
I was gonna say also Deshaun Watson has been given permission to start practicing again.
Yeah, that's a little bit
Yeah,
weird.
so
Anyways, for the 7th time in a row, the Houston Texans have defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars, who seemingly, I thought Jacksonville has kind of turned a table, but apparently not. Uh, I don't really know how to explain how the Texans squeaked out of that one with a win because how are the Jacksonville Jaguars not winning this game?
has the NFL season made sense at all this year? Has the AFC South made any sense at all this year?
There you go. That yeah, no, it hasn't, and it won't make sense for another week. Like,
Pretty sure every team has beaten every team in that division. Has the
uh,
Titans lost? No, the Titans haven't lost to
no,
anyone. But, like, the Jags have beat the Colts have beaten the Texans or so I don't fucking know. The Texans have
the
now beat the
Colts and Texans
Jags.
have tied,
Right. It's just like
and the Titans have beat the Colts.
it's just I don't know what to think about any team in that division, so I've just given
I
up
don't either.
on that. No matter what the line is in any of those games, it could be Titans, Texans. It's a stay away game because I just never know with the AFC South.
No, you don't like, yeah, but I mean, I just feel like the Jaguars never got the run game down. James Robinson had like his most quiet performance like ever. It was just all pass, and it was like you guys were in this game the whole time. You could have controlled the clock, but you just thought passing to get an early lead and then running. Like it's just kind of a headache
Yeah.
of a game. Obviously, Lawrence had a very poor game, and it wasn't even bad conditions. Like I would take his performance against the Eagles over this one any day, even though he fumbled it like 3 times and
Yeah.
threw like 2 picks. But it's a tough week for the Jaguars. Hopefully, they bounce back next week.
Like Chargers have had a stinker, Bucks have had a stinker. Every team this season has had like Broncos have had 5 stinkers.
Yeah.
It's so like Jags obviously they're turning the tables, right?
hmm
Um, they're an up and coming team. You're gonna have stinkers every once and again. So
Yeah.
it's just a
The
tough.
only time that you can kind of allow that is like if you have a stinker against, if you have a stinker, like you're one of the top teams and you have a stinker against like a mid team. Okay, a mid team, like they're called frisky for a reason. But if you have a a bad game like this against a bottom tier team, like this just says that you can't go deep. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and I can confidently say I don't think New Orleans is going to do anything now after they lost to Carolina. Like it puts a stinger on your season in general.
yeah,
And it was kind of like the Bills losing to the Jaguars last year. Although that one felt different, obviously, for many reasons, but I mean, it proved to be right. The Bills didn't like go far in the
yeah,
playoffs, but we digress. The next game, the Bills, speaking of them, show the Steelers the other 49 states that isn't
yeah,
Pennsylvania.
yeah.
Kenny Pickett looked like a rookie. Josh Allen looked like he didn't give a fuck. and Gabe Davis had 2 catches for over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, having
That's
a
the
Randy
most
Moss stat line right there.
I was about to say that's like the most Gabe Davis thing I've ever heard, is
Yeah,
like just 2 long bombs and that's all he gets, but they're 2 scores.
and
It's
immediately, like, the first touchdown, a 98-yard touchdown, and then his second one, like,
68 or something.
what a great one-handed catch. It was just I I knew that the Bills
Was
were
that
just
the
gonna
one where he ripped it out of Fitzpatrick's
make a
hand?
fast
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That was hilarious because Fitzpatrick had the pick and then Gabe Davis is like, "Nope."
No.
That's like
Yeah,
the Julio Jones, Malcolm Butler in the
yeah,
corner of the
right?
end zone. Butler literally had the pick and Julio's like, "Hmm,
I'll take it.
yeah, thanks."
Yeah, but, going up against Minka, like, that is insane, you
Yeah.
know?
Speed kills,
So
man, and Gabe Davis has it,
oof,
so
oh, definitely. Um,
yeah,
the
I
next
got one thing though, that uh play on Kenny Pickett diving at his knee is
that yeah,
dirty, like, that was and the late hit is, like, you can't do that either when Pickett was sliding, but at least it wasn't so much head contact, it was pretty, like, in the chest area, it was just late,
very
um
late, yeah.
so, that's bad, you can't really do that, but that Pickett one, I totally respect Pickett for, like obviously, it's a battle he's gonna freaking lose because it's a big ass defensive tackle,
Mhm,
but shout out to him for, like, pushing back because that was a dirty dive at his knee.
absolutely.
That coulda taken him out for a while, and those kinda knee injuries can set a player's career back, like, that could have been, like, a hyperextension where that's like a sprain to a higher degree, and those are
Mhm.
really hard to recover from. So, that is a play that I kinda lost respect for that player on the Bills because it's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, why are you doing this to
Like,
someone like this and
like,
that?
that's just a really dirty play, you can't be doing that, so, shout out Pickett for at least just pushing back and showing him that, like, "Hey, I'm
Yeah,
not
just
gonna
showing
take."
them that he's not a pushover,
Yeah,
not a bitch.
yeah, I'm not gonna take your shit just because 'cause I'm a rookie, like, you that's fucked up to do that, so
No,
but
definitely.
I just wanna touch on that before, we moved on.
Yeah, no, and honestly, great point. Definitely, definitely a key point in any football game is to just keep the injuries out of it.
Yeah.
Um, the Jets mollywop the Dolphins.
Yeah? What's his name? Skylar Thompson or something like
Skylar
that?
Thompson, yeah, and I mean, I was kind of expected as soon as you saw Bridgewater go down
Yeah.
and quickly ruled out even after clearing concussion protocol. Dolphins are probably like, you know what? We don't need to do this again.
Yeah. Our name's
And
already too deep in the mud, so we'll
exactly. So yeah, the Jets had an amazing game. Brees Hall looks really good. Michael Carter, they have like a really good like 1-2 tandem
young tandem
and
too.
very young tandem. And Zach Wilson, great game.
Yeah.
Great game. Can't really say too much. Tyreek Hill, seen in a walking boot, that's not good.
Love to hear that from my fantasy
Yep.
team.
Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill back to back weeks have shown very mid performances after having like the best performances.
Yep.
And obviously it's tough to see, but hopefully they can bounce back. Um the Vikings barely squeak one out against the Bears if it wasn't for their rookie corner stealing the ball from the Bears wide receiver. Who knows how that game could have gone? Like it was close, and I hate every fucking time on Red Zone. Scott Hansen, he's like, "Oh, this just happened, but now let's check in with the Bears." And it's like, fuck, either they score or they don't. Like,
Yeah.
what happens?
It's either
And
a really bad interception from Fields or it's a insane bomb by
yeah,
Fields.
and obviously it turned out to be the Vikings just took the ball away from the receiver who had a just an easy assignment to just run out of bounds. All you needed to do. There was hardly any
Yeah.
time left, and but that's just a rookie mistake, and
That was the
that's
quickest
expected.
that was the quickest redemption story I've seen from a player. Gets his ankles broken and then 2 seconds later, uh, runs back and just steals the ball out of that same receiver's hands. It's
There
like,
you go.
"Oh, you wanna break my ankles? Well, you don't get this anymore, okay?
Yeah,
That's fine."
literally.
Just
This is my ball now,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
The Titans beat the Commies in a very Wentz fashion. What
And
can we say?
and I don't give a fuck about how bad your quarterback played. Ron Rivera, man, you can't be sending your guy under the bus like that. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors as to why you lost, and yes, Carson Wentz with some tough turnovers, but you can't just be in a press conference to the public, "Oh, why aren't you guys playing as good in the NFC East?" "Oh, yeah, our quarterback." It's like,
Yeah,
dude, way to punch
yeah,
a guy when he's fucking down. How is he
yeah,
supposed to go
seriously.
out next week and have a reason to play for you when you just threw him out like that?
When that is the type of respect that you give him, and I completely agree. And it's like, look at Wentz's projection over the last 3 years. He hasn't had a sustained offensive coordinator. Like, do you really expect to go out and get someone and for them who's kind of been struggling the last couple of years to just, "Oh, yeah, now you're in our system, so play great."
Yeah,
No, it doesn't happen. The only susceptible or noticeable highlight of this game, Derrick Henry, beast, and that intro for Brian Robinson Jr.,
coming out to many men
chills
by,
by
50.
50 Cent. Oh, dude, absolute chills. Like,
So good to see him back.
it's amazing because obviously that was a huge life or death situation,
Yeah.
regardless of football. And the fact that in 6 weeks he went from being shot twice to coming out and playing a game and not looking half bad. I give major props to Brian Robinson Jr.
Well, he was
Eh,
highly touted coming out too, and it
yeah,
just sucked because it was like, "Oh, Brian Robinson looks to be in line to be the starting running back for or the lead back for Washington," and then, like, 3 hours later, it's like, "Oh, Brian Robinson shot twice in the
shot.
leg."
Yeah, and it's like, what
It's
the
like
fuck?
"What?"
Yeah, so obviously, a report just came out today saying that Antonio Gibson literally just could be the kick returner from here on forward, and that is a shocker. So because like Gibson looked really good for like the past 2 years,
Yeah.
over 1,000 rushing yards each season, touchdowns galore. But like, hey, we're just bystanders, we're just fans. We don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors when the game's done and stuff like that and the facility and
Exactly.
everything like that.
The Falcons were absolutely refed away from a potential win. Um,
They
obviously,
got
we can
any
we can
chance
kind
taken
of
away.
yeah we can kind of tie this game in with the Chiefs and Raiders for basically the same situation. Uh, something needs to be fixed with these like terrible
It's
terrible
ruining the
roughing the
game.
passer.
It's
Yeah,
ruining the game, man. It makes the game unwatchable because what else are defenders supposed to do?
literally,
Like
I don't know. Like
in both games. So I can't remember exactly who it was who made the sack on Tom Brady. I don't know much of the
Grady
uh,
Jarrett,
Grady Jarrett. He legit doesn't land on Brady, which they've said you're not allowed to
you're not
do.
allowed to do.
He tackled him to the ground, which is
Hmm.
what their job is.
And it
And
wasn't vicious. It
it
wasn't like a
wasn't
Tua hit.
no, it wasn't vicious at all. And it's like, what else are they supposed to do? Like Chris Jones against Derek Carr hit him,
Strip sacks him.
strip sacks him, puts his arm out to keep from all of his impact falling on Carr, and he gets a penalty as well. It's like, what are like I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but man, like they're not gonna be able to get paid to do their jobs. Like Micah Parsons tweeted out and said, like, yo, just
Yeah.
change it to 7-on-7 if you're gonna keep calling this. Like what there's
I
nothing else they could do.
completely agree because there's no point then. There's no point of having a run game if all you're gonna do is as soon as you don't run the ball, you just take a sack, but it's like, oh, if I land in like a hard way, I can get 3 yards. And I don't want to say obviously because it's not just Brady anymore that's getting these calls. Obviously, it's a lot of people. It just seems to be that obviously Brady gets a lot of these calls, but this is why people are calling the NFL rigged because uh, 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 a slower team or like a worse team who shouldn't really be in this game is making a push to beat a team that's way better than them. Nope. No, we're not gonna let that happen. Like this is why people make these conspiracy theories and uh but then seeing on Monday night and it's like, okay, well the Chiefs, who are a really, really nationally televised team now get penalized for this bullshit. Now it's just like what what is a roughing the passer call and what isn't anymore, you
Yeah.
know? And it's like something has to be fixed. I agree with Michael Parsons. Fuck it. Take it down to 7-on-7. Have it be a passing league. Have it make that the quarterback can't hit anyone or can't get hit by anyone.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, and they showed a statement by the ref who made the call on the Tom
Jerome
Brady
Boger,
thing,
yeah,
and
tone
he
deaf.
literally he described a tackle.
Yeah,
It's like, "Oh, someone put their hands on Brady and threw him to the ground, and that's why I called it." It's like, "Oh, so, like, are you gonna call an unnecessary roughness when someone tackles a guy in open field?"
yeah,
Like, is
literally.
like, it's like, you're being so contradicting to yourself as a ref, like, just say, like, "You fucked up."
Yeah, say like
Yeah,
that it was
and
your problem.
like, an MLB ref described that when he discredited a perfect game from a pitcher. He was like, "I" in the post game, he was like, "Yeah, I screwed up. I took this away from a player that should have had this. Like, I messed up."
Mhm.
If you just completely eat it and be like, "Yeah, that wasn't a rough in the passer call, like, I screwed up, whatever," like, I don't know, like, it still sucks, but, like, at least
At least there's a somewhat of an answer
yeah, like,
and not just a
acknowledge
tone
and
deaf
respect it was
bitch.
just such a terrible call, and
Yeah.
me, you, and Duncan were talking about it when we were golfing yesterday, and, like, there have been terrible ones, like, when they got more strict with it, and Clay Matthews got called twice in the same game. Like, he literally just hit him over, and he got roughed in the passer, like, it was bullshit. This Tom Brady one is up there as one of the worst I've seen,
Mhm.
and the same thing happened to Mahomes, and nothing was
Yes.
called.
Yeah, and I saw that play too. It literally looked like the exact same tackle, but it wasn't called on Mahomes, and it's just like, come on, man. There's no consistency with any of these refs. It's like they all have their own way that they're gonna ref the game, and it just completely screws up the game because then
Yeah,
it's like, how is any game supposed to be like I guess it's unique in its own way, but for all the wrong reasons.
yeah.
So yeah, I can't be asked about this shit anymore. If there's another controversial call and the internet's gonna get mad at it again, oh excuse me. I'm just not even gonna be phased by this shit anymore because it's like we see this every week,
Yeah,
and the only thing that we've gotten out of the NFL is a new concussion protocol,
which should have already been in
which
place.
should yeah, exactly. But speaking of concussion protocol, the Saints beat the Seahawks in dramatic fashion. I only say concussion protocol because Chris Olave somehow like I know people or Seahawks fans are saying like, "Oh, what is and isn't a catch anymore?" Uh, it's been in the rule book now that you literally have to make a football move to have control of the ball, and then if you have control of the ball and you break the plane as he was already in the end zone, then it's a touchdown. It doesn't matter if you drop the ball after because it's like he already
Yeah,
scored.
you have to be classified as a runner, and I think that's a football move or 2 steps after getting
Yeah,
control of the
he
catch.
took 3 steps, and I was like, "Okay," like, I could see how people would be mad, but
Yeah,
it's been a rule ever since Dez, made a football move and the ball popped out, like, yeah, that was a catch.
yeah.
But, yeah, no, so whatever, disregard it. Alvin Kamara had one of the quietest 194-yard games, I think, like, anyone has ever seen.
It was an
And then
insane game, man, it was so back and forth.
it was a great game. It was like, holy fuck, the Saints are gonna blow this. No, they're not. Taysom Hill. Oh my god, Geno Smith to Tyler Lockett. Oh my god, Taysom Hill. Like, it was an emotional roller coaster, and yes, Vanilla Vic prevails. It's it blows my mind every week. It's like, Taysom Hill's in the backfield. They have no wide receivers, no running backs, and 5 tight ends on the field.
I
I
wonder what's
wonder what they're
coming.
gonna do. And immediately, like, no one can stop it, and I don't get why they
I
can't. Like,
I don't understand how he gets it done every single time.
every time, but you know what? I will take that shit because then it sets up plays where he fakes like he's gonna run and then throws a dart
Yeah, over the
to
top.
a tight end, and yeah, it was that was classic like Sean Payton game right there,
Yeah.
which is what the Saints need because that's the way their offense was built, and especially not having Landry and Thomas for back to back games there kind of like solidified away, and Kamara looks healthy as shit again,
Which is always good to see.
which is amazing to see. And awful to see is Rashad Penny going down with a broken fibula after, of course, having an amazing start to the season.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy, but I think he should retire. Like, he's had every season he's had has been just derailed by injury, and he's not gonna have a life if he keeps like fucking up his life with football.
Yeah, it's so tough to see a player hampered with injuries because of he was also a big name coming out as well. Lots of hopes in Seattle, and imagine just Rashad Penny is expected to take over for Chris Carson, who retired early,
Who
and now
retired
Rashad
earlier.
Penny is put in a situation where it's like, is it even worth it to keep pushing forward because I've just
Mhm.
been derailed by injuries, and now you got Kenneth Walker coming
Yeah,
up,
who
and it's
looks
like
amazing.
it looks good, and I don't wanna put the retirement tag on Rashad Penny quite yet because broken bones aren't necessarily ligaments, so they're a bit easier to recover from. They won't linger as
Mhm.
much, as, like, sprains, hyperextensions, or
Something
anything
to do with tendons.
yeah, or anything torn.
Yeah.
So, I expect him to recover a bit better than any other, injury like you just kinda described. So I still have hopes that he'll be effective next season,
Mhm.
but if it was something like a concussion or a torn ACL or anything like that, I'd been like, yeah,
Maybe time
maybe,
to hang up the cleats. Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's not worth it, but
Yeah. No, definitely. But
wish him the best.
wishing him the best. Obviously, speedy recovery. Mans looks like he has like power and juice, and the Seahawks needed it, you know. So, anyways, the next game, Matt Rule was fired because he can't do anything. The 49ers and the 49ers defense, I think, no, they didn't outscore the Panthers on the defense, but the offense definitely did. But no, the 49ers, like I've been saying all year, with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm, they don't need a superstar. They don't need anyone. They just need someone who can manage it. And they managed that perfectly. Jeff Wilson, stud. Prayers up to Mosley, who had
Yeah,
a pick six, and Carolina. They look so bad. They really should just trade DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey and just say picks.
dude, blow it up.
Blow it up. Please blow it up. You're gonna waste McCaffrey's career. You're gonna waste DJ Moore's career, and the way it's turning out for Baker, uh, I don't even know what you do with Baker because he's looking like what he got traded for. You know,
Yeah, Baker Mayfield is gonna be out for the next few weeks with something to do with his shoulder or ankle.
he was in a
So
walking boot.
yeah, so I think he has
Uh,
a severe high ankle sprain, I think they described it
yes,
as.
yes.
So he's gonna be out for multiple weeks, so PJ Walker is projected to start now. Um, I don't know what to think about this team. I know there's teams probably worse than them, but I think Carolina, since there's teams with not as good players and Carolina still is 1-4, I think they're the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
Um, because it's like, how are you that bad with that star players? It's like you're the worst team. Like Houston has a reason to be the worst team because
Hmm.
they don't really have anyone except
They don't
maybe
have a good
Brandon
talent.
Cooks or
Yeah.
like Damian Pierce, but one's a rookie and one's like a journeyman wide receiver.
Yeah.
Carolina has one of the best dual threat running backs, pass and catchers, and DJ Moore is an unbelievable receiver. Really good. He's a
He's a possession.
really good wide receiver one, exceptional wide receiver two, and you still 1-4. And
Yeah.
Baker, you were the number one pick, but dude, you're the worst. He's the worst starting quarterback in the league, in my opinion. I'm not.
Whew. Hot take. I mean, it is a hot take. Like, it, but at the same time, I'm looking at all the other starting quarterbacks.
Who would you take over him? Or like, who wouldn't you take over him?
Man, I guess the only other one is like Carson Wentz. Maybe
I'm taking Carson Wentz over Baker Mayfield.
Justin Fields.
I'm taking Justin Fields over Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, then that's probably the okay,
Because
Marcus Mariota.
this season, I'm taking Marcus Mariota over
Yeah,
Baker
okay.
Mayfield.
Yeah.
Because
I've
because at least those quarterbacks have legs and they can run.
yeah, no, they definitely do.
And Carson Wentz, as much as the bad turnovers are, he's throwing for like 300 yards and stuff. Like he's still making throws,
Yeah,
whereas Baker Mayfield hasn't done anything.
anything. Yeah, no, you're definitely right.
So I
He
think he's
hasn't looked impressive. He hasn't looked good, and especially with the weapons that he has,
yeah,
he just doesn't. He's not
exactly.
suiting the
He has
Panthers.
he has DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, who by my accounts I don't think have been hurt this year.
No, and they're not the
And
worst wide receiver tandem.
and he has Christian McCaffrey, and I look at his stat line, and he's 12 for 20 with 150 yards and an interception, and I'm like, dude, figure it out.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Like,
Who knows how much of that too is like offensive play calling because obviously they still have Ben McAdoo,
which
who
I don't
hasn't been
understand
fired.
why he was a good choice in the first place, but
Yep, I don't get it either.
even back in like Carolina, as much as Baker Mayfield was dealing with injuries, I just never saw anything. Like I had a glimmer of hope, like maybe he finds something in Carolina, but nothing has been working out for him.
No, nothing. The Eagles squeak by with a missed field goal from Cardinals kicker to win 20-17. This was an ugly Eagles game.
Yeah.
This had like pure domination in like the first half to absolutely just flat in the second half. The Cardinals defense showed up for some fucking reason. I don't know how. They couldn't cover Devonta Smith. Um, and AJ Brown, they could. I don't know. Not really much to talk about this game. Hurts looked very average.
Yeah, he is very like questionable for like MVP odds. He's had a great year. I'm not doubting that at all. I think he needs to throw for more touchdowns because I think I looked and he was like only on pace for like 16 touchdown passes, where it's like
Yeah.
he needs to stop relying on his legs so much. And mind you, a lot of the conditions he's played in have been shit.
Yes.
Um, so throwing the ball isn't going to be as prominent. But I just want to see him throw the ball more.
Yeah, I do too. This
It's
one was in a dome too.
yeah, I wanna see him throw more. He has a really good tandem now in Smith and Brown, and I think that's known. So I just wanna see him throw more, and Dallas Goedert is no slouch at tight end either. So, find the end zone more with your arm. Show me what you can do, Jalen, and show the world what you can do. Stop being, like, scared to throw it.
Agreed.
As much as you're probably, like, top 3 running quarterback in the league behind maybe Lamar and Josh Allen, like, we know what you can do with your legs. And yes, that
Yeah.
might be your best chance to like dominate games, but show me what you can do with your arm because it looked really good at the start.
It looked amazing at the start. Yeah, no, I
So keep
agree.
it up. Keep it up, man.
And Kyler Murray is proving every week why I would rather have Kirk Cousins over
Yep.
Kyler Murray.
Yep. It's not looking like a great take by me.
Yeah. Oh man. The Cowboys completely upset the Rams, which I called so early in the week. If it wasn't for my dad kind of saying like, no, let's maybe not put the Cowboys as our survivor favorite just because it's the Rams. The Rams and the Packers to me kind of have the same outline going. I don't know what it looks like for you, but Cooper Rush becomes the first 5-0 starter for the Dallas Cowboys ever as a starter, which is amazing.
Wow.
And you know what? He's actually going to create some quarterback controversy.
I think just with how much Dak's being paid, he's gonna be back in the starting lineup. I
Surely
think
he is, right?
yeah, but similar to Brissett, just keeps Cooper Rush's name out there who for like any sort of stopgap quarterback who needs it, right?
Yeah. I'll be like, God
Um,
damn, this guy was 5-0. Like,
like a Carolina situation. I'd rather have Cooper Rush right now than fucking Baker or
yeah,
any other.
I agree.
Give me Cooper Rush. He's shown that he can find the likes of Gallup and CD Lamb.
Hmm.
What makes you think he can't find Robbie Anderson or DJ Moore,
Yeah,
right?
no, exactly.
So
And actually use Christian McCaffrey like the
exactly.
same way he uses Tony Pollard.
Exactly. So
So yeah,
yeah,
Tony Pollard had a great game as well, like he does almost every week.
yeah, I mean, he exploded for that, what, like 40-yard
50
touchdown?
yard, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
He just
Uh,
looks so much more explosive than Zeke right now.
so much more. It's sad, but I mean, this is the way Zeke's career has been trending ever since his rookie year.
Yeah,
It's
it's
going
been
down.
yeah, it's sad to see, but it's true.
The Ravens, Justin Tucker.
Please say that stat. It's fucked.
The one stat, obviously, the Ravens beat the Bengals on a game-winning kick from
Wh
Tucker,
what was it, like
and the
what was
most
this?
insane stat ever. They compared his latitude to the field goal post, and that basically means how center it was. Basically, if these field goal posts were half a yard wide and a regulation, but like half a yard wide, not moved over to the left, not moved over to the right, but right in the middle, half a yard wide, Justin Tucker still would have made this kick. Like
That is
that
insane.
that is absolutely insane just to say that in your head because it's like, oh yeah, okay, half a yard. Wait, half a yard, that's like a foot. So yeah, no, Justin Tucker proves why he is the best kicker in the NFL. It's Justin Tucker at S tier, uh, maybe a couple at A, and then everyone else. No, he's absolutely insane. Ravens, Lamar missed so many touchdown passes.
Yeah.
But you know what? The Ravens got it done over a good Bengals team. And then Monday night, obviously we talked about some controversial calls. Whatever. The Raiders blew a 17 to nothing lead.
Yeah.
Uh, and honestly, I never had a doubt that the Chiefs were going to lose this game. Even when it was 17 to nothing, I wasn't even panicking. I was
Yeah.
like, it's
I
Patrick Mahomes.
I told my dad, I'm like, "Yeah, Chiefs are gonna roll over Vegas, like, they're gonna beat him by, like" I'm thinking, like, 17 points, and then it was
Yeah,
17 nothing, and I'm like, "Huh, I should've just bet everything Vegas," but I still thought the Chiefs were gonna win because the worst position you can there's no good position to be in against the Chiefs because even if you're up, you're still susceptible to lose, as we clearly saw,
literally.
but first of all, our bet between Andrews and Kelsey is coming onto the fucking wire because Kelsey had 4 touchdowns last night. Um, and it's just like, you in Madden, when you're playing like face of the franchise or whatever, you're always looking for that one receiver.
Yep.
And like he has like 5 touchdowns in the first half because it's like he's just beating everyone. It's so easy. That was Mahomes with Kelsey. And obviously that tandem is just like no secret. But even when you try to find even when you know where the ball is going, Kelsey's just so good at getting open, and Mahomes is even better at getting the ball to him. So, that
Yeah, I
was
find
really
it
fun.
absolutely crazy. Kelsey only had
Like 30
25 reception yards,
yeah, before
yeah,
they're all
but
in the red
4
zone.
touchdowns.
Yeah, they're all in the red zone. It was hilarious.
He literally has 7 touchdowns on the year. Yeah, the Mark Andrews and Travis Kelsey bet was looking so good. Travis Kelsey's definitely pulled away. Obviously,
But Mark
Mark
Andrews is
Andrews can
what?
do
What?
that.
He's tight end 3? Tight end
I
2?
think he's tight end too. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so,
might be
like
tight end three because of T.J. Hawkinson's like amazing game. But no,
but that's the
regardless,
only good game he's had, so I think it's like
yeah,
we're neck and neck, and they keep, alternating spots, it
yeah,
seems,
they do.
week
Uh,
to week.
he had a dud against Buffalo, but I mean this week against Cincy, 89 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and
He
so
has he has four touchdowns
both tight ends are typically good for a touchdown each week. It's
almost.
so,
Yeah, no,
um,
definitely.
I was I was gonna say, something. Oh, Josh McDaniels, man. I've always questioned your coaching style, and that came into play. Why the fuck are you going for 2 when you're down 1? You're gonna
Dude,
get
it
gonna
doesn't
give
make
him the
any
ball
sense.
back anyway, and yes, obviously, if
Yeah,
you got it, you would've won the game, but
but you wouldn't have because there was still like 3 minutes to go.
I no, but, like, I in hindsight, the score never changed after that, so if
That's
they
true.
did
Yeah,
so in
that is true.
hindsight, they would've won it, but that would've given the Chiefs more ammo to go down and
Yeah.
score if they were down. Tie the game up, take the points. Hopefully, your
If you
defense
get a
makes a
field
stop,
goal,
and
yeah,
you
and
it they are so lucky that they forced a 3 and out, or, like, they forced them to punt. Why are you going for 2? It did not make any fucking sense
no,
to me. Like, I understood it when the Chiefs went for 2 to try and get it
obviously.
to, like, 2 score
Yeah, but it's like
territory.
if we don't get it, we're still up by one.
Yeah, we're still up by a full 7 points. That
Yeah.
made sense to me. Why are you going for 2 when you need this? It's
Yeah,
just
no.
take the
It
points.
didn't make any
You
sense.
have one of the best kickers in the league. Take the points. There's like a 99% chance he doesn't make it. Take the extra point and fucking hopefully your defense makes a stop, which they did. It's
Mhm.
just, man,
Yeah. No, it was
terrible
a
coaching decision.
definitely a questionable call. Devontae Adams could be facing suspension.
Oh yeah.
He has charges pressed against him by the cameraman. Kind of a soft thing to do. Obviously this one's just a pure money grab. Like
Yeah.
there's no way that this cameraman is ever going to be injured. He went to the hospital, but it's like if you come up with anything more than like a bruised tailbone, I will be surprised.
Yeah.
Uh, but still, terrible look on Devonte Adams. There's how many people watching you and you do that shit, man? Like, come on,
Yeah, there's no
clean
reason
up
for
your
that.
act. We get it. Like, you're mad that Renfro fucking stopped you. He was the only one that could stop you last night.
Yeah.
But like, come, like you gotta chill. You
Yeah.
gotta chill. You just, yeah, you can't do that. I know you gotta take off a little bit soon, so we won't really do it. The fantasy studs and duds this week. We'll give like honorable
I
mentions.
mean, I have one right off the bat.
Okay,
Austin Eckler, that guy, and
absolutely.
I'm relating it to our points per first down league, which probably shouldn't be any farther off from any PPR
PP.
format,
Yeah.
but he had like 32 fantasy points this week, so
Yep.
he
No,
stepped up.
absolutely a stud.
That's I'll say that's my star of the week because
Then
that
I'll
was
give a stud of the week. Taysom Hill.
yeah,
Not even just a fantasy stud, but like hearing all the stats, he joins Walter Payton in the for one of the only people in like 2 seasons to or a career to rush for 20 touchdowns, throw for over six, and catch like eight or something like that. So, and he's still and Taysom Hill's still going. Taysom Hill also recovered a fumble. It wasn't like it was like the hardest recovered fumble
yeah,
to do, but he recovered a fumble, so we got more fantasy points on top of that. And he scored a touchdown, or he set up his own touchdown. And yeah, so he had three rushing touchdowns, a fumble recovery, and a passing touchdown.
yeah.
Absolutely, like in for Donald when he picked him up. I tried to pick up Taysom Hill because I'm like, God damn, like if Michael Thomas is out, Hill could really do some damage, and he did. But yeah, no, that's classic. Great tight end spot.
I got a dud.
Okay.
Jalen Waddle, he or TJ Hawkinson I'll actually do. He had
Yes.
4 targets, 1 catch for 6 yards.
Yeah, that's absolute stinker. You
After
can't be
having blown up in week 4 and then having that, it's kind of a stinker.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely stinker.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, I didn't really come up with the dud. Uh, I don't even know. I'm
Uh,
just looking. Anyone
honorable
on the Steelers. Anyone on the Steelers.
yeah, honorable
Eh,
mention, I guess, Jalen Waddle, he had 23 yards receiving.
yeah.
But,
Uh,
yeah,
we'll kinda, like, look ahead a little bit here. The Commies and Bears play Thursday night. I think that'll be a lot better than a 12-9 game. At least this one has kind of the visibility to be a shootout, so I'm
I'm
kind
gonna
of excited about
I'm
that
gonna
one.
take Washington pretty heavily here. I think Carson Wentz is actually gonna have a pretty good game. I think he's gonna try and use the Ron Rivera as motivation and play not as stupid. He might throw like an
That's fair.
interception here and there because he's usually due for one, but it might not be like a bad one as the Tennessee one. It might just
Hmm,
be like a standard, like, oh, I threw a 50-50 ball and the cornerback came down with it instead. But I think Carson Wentz is gonna have a revenge game, and, I think I'm gonna take Washington money line and, um, spread.
that's fair. I like the Bears specifically because they're unveiling their new helmets.
Oh,
I feel like the new helmet game could be good. I feel like David Montgomery could absolutely just tear up this commie defense. Your Patriots have a bye this week. Oh no, no, they don't. They're playing the Browns. I just saw
yeah.
that. Your Pats are playing the Browns in Cleveland, so this should be an interesting game.
I like what's the do you have the spread? Do you have it there? I
I can find it right now.
I feel like Cleveland would be favored by around the field goal, that's my guess, just because they have a little bit better, um, offense, pretty close defensive-wise, but I would probably
Yeah, it's only a field goal.
I would
LOL.
probably guess Patriots to cover, but I think Cleveland will win. But I think it's gonna be close. It's solely depending on how we attack the Browns, um, defense, how Bailey Zappi will look. I have
Yes.
trust in our running game, but when we throw the ball, how are we gonna look with that? So I would probably take Cleveland money line, but Patriots to cover.
Yeah. No, I could see that happening.
And I think bet the house on anytime Chubb touchdown.
Yeah,
Because I
no,
mean, like,
that one seems to be just hitting every time.
yeah,
Obviously, well, not obviously, but my Saints host the LSU Bengals. So it'll be cool to see like all the LSU Burrow and Chase fans coming to watch their team get shit on. No, I'm kidding.
yeah,
It doesn't look like T Higgins is going to be up for this game. Marshawn Lattimore looks like he's day to day. So that's kind of scary because obviously I want to see Lattimore on Chase.
he'll probably play, I think.
Oh, he played with a broken hand last year. I don't think really a lot of things keep him out, and I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Thomas just fuck Eli Apple. Every time I love seeing the quotes by Michael Thomas back at OSU days where he's like, um, he would catch like an extreme ball over Eli Apple. He'd throw the ball at him and he'd go
Yeah,
up to the DB coach, like, get me someone who can fucking guard me.
yeah,
Nuts out on the table. I'm excited for that. Cowboys Eagles looks to be a great Sunday night game. And then the Chargers should beat the Broncos on Monday night. So that's going to be really good to see.
yeah.
And
I
then the
would
Bills and Chiefs.
yeah. Blind betting here. I'm going to take Eagles, uh, money line and spread.
Oh,
Actually, Cowboys cover. I'm assuming, um, if Dak's not playing, I'm assuming Philly's favored, so I'm gonna take Philly money line, um, Cowboys cover. And then for the, uh, Chargers and Broncos, I'm taking Chargers on both. And then, Bills and Chiefs, I got I'm gonna take Chiefs both.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I like the Eagles. They're 4.5 point favorites against the Cowboys. I would take that. And then you want to make a little wager? I'll go Bills.
Okay.
All right. But
That
that's
can't
it
be
for.
that can't be far off, right? The spread there? That
I
can't be
think
far off.
I think it'll literally be like a pick 'em.
I think it might be like a 2.5 thing or like 1.5 thing, like home
Yeah.
field advantage favorite kinda thing.
2.5. The Bills are a 2.5 point favorite.
That doesn't, like, awfully
Woo!
that doesn't surprise me. Is it in Buffalo?
No.
Oh, wow. They're favored going into Arrowhead.
Yeah.
So I am going to take Chiefs. I money line and obviously covering if they're gonna win.
Should be
But
cool to see.
yeah, um, yeah, so should be a fun week 6.
Yeah. But that is all we have. Jev, where can the people find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Jevon.lefave, on Twitter at JevonLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at leftsideheavy_, and head to the YouTube and watch. If you don't like listening, watching adds a little bit more different experience. And leave a rating and review everywhere you get your podcast. That helps grow the show.
Hell yeah. And you can find me at Hayden_Barton on Instagram and Twitter. And you might see me pop up a couple times on the TikTok at HBAR13.
And go back and listen to episode 125, Kick Back and Relax with Alex Higdon. It was a really good interview. And he went through a pretty traumatizing incident, and we kind of lived through that, and he tells me the story in detail and everything like that, and it was a really good sit down with him. So be sure to check that one out. But yeah, thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next week. Enjoy puck drop tonight and enjoy the hockey season for the first week. It'll be a lot of fun, and enjoy week 6 of the NFL season. Peace.
Boom.